Your Colorado comes equipped with a Driver Information Center. Because of the importance of this feature when it comes to understanding your new Chevrolet vehicle, we're going to spend the next track talking about it.
In this day and age, they say information is power, so it's no exaggeration to say that everyone with a Colorado must have a lot of power. Because this vehicle is chock full of valuable information to make your driving experience safe and pleasurable.
You can think of your Driver Information Center as a high-tech communication hub for your vehicle, as it allows you to get valuable data and information from your pickup.
The DIC LCD or liquid crystal display readout is located in the instrument panel cluster above the steering wheel, and it automatically comes on whenever the ignition is turned on.
After a short delay, the DIC will show the information that was last displayed before the engine was turned off. If a problem is detected, a warning message will appear on the display. Pressing and releasing the trip odometer reset stem on the DIC will acknowledge any current warning or service message, although it will not correct the issue.
The DIC has different modes that can be accessed by pressing and releasing the trip odometer reset stem on the DIC. The DIC trip odometer reset stem is located on the instrument panel cluster next to the DIC display. To scroll through the available functions, press and release the reset stem.
These functions are trip information, which includes your odometer and trip odometer, then the GM Oil Life System, followed by your automatic door lock options, and then completed with your language display selection. These choices and the display on the instrument panel work together to give you incredible control and information about your vehicle.
Let's walk through each of these choices. The first is trip information. Press the stem to display the odometer and the trip odometer.
The odometer is automatically displayed on the DIC when you start the vehicle and shows the total distance the vehicle has been driven.
Next, press and release the reset stem until trip appears on the DIC display. This shows the current distance traveled since the last time you reset the trip odometer. To reset the trip odometer, press and hold the reset stem for approximately 4 seconds.
One of my favorite features is the computer system in your Chevrolet that lets you know when it's time to change the oil.
And that's the next feature that appears when you continue to cycle through the DIC by pressing the reset stem. You'll see the flashing words Oil Life.
That's the GM Oil Life System, and it calculates, based on engine revolutions and temperatures, when an oil and filter change is needed, and then lets you know with a light on the instrument panel.
By doing this, your Chevrolet not only extends the life of your engine, but it reduces the overall wear and tear by taking into account your actual driving habits and needs, and giving you indispensable information about when to have your vehicle's oil and filter serviced. It's a real improvement on the old-fashioned reminder stickers that your service center used to stick on your windshield, not to mention that it saves you money and helps the environment by avoiding unnecessary oil changes.
If a change oil message appears in the DIC, that means that it's time to take your pickup in for an oil and filter change as soon as possible. And that means definitely within the next 2 times that you stop for fuel. Keep in mind, though, that this system is not meant to replace regularly scheduled maintenance practices, and that the oil change reminder will not detect dusty conditions or measure how much oil you have in your engine. So you have to make regular inspections a part of your maintenance schedule.
Now, once your oil and filter are changed, the GM Oil Life System has to be reset so that it can begin to recalculate when it'll be time for your next oil and filter change.
And that's not a problem if you get your pickup serviced at a GM dealership where they'll automatically do it for you.
But if you decide to go elsewhere to have it done, or if you like the hands-on feel of doing it yourself, it's no problem. You can reset your oil life system yourself by pressing in and holding the reset stem while the oil life is showing in the DIC. Then, to complete the procedure, turn your ignition key to lock.
So far, we've looked at how the Driver Information Center lets you know about what's going on with your Colorado. Now we're going to show you how you can tell your Colorado how you'd like it to operate when it comes to the way your doors lock.
This is where the DIC takes communication to a new level.
We've already mentioned in the second track that there were 3 choices or modes of automatic door locking options.
And they are Mode 1, where all doors lock when the transmission is shifted into gear for an automatic transmission, or where all doors lock when the vehicle speed is greater than 15 miles per hour for a manual transmission, and where all the doors will unlock when the vehicle is shifted into park with an automatic transmission, or when the ignition key is removed on a manual transmission.
Mode 2 is where all doors lock when the vehicle is shifted out of park with an automatic transmission, or when vehicle speed is greater than 15 miles per hour with a manual transmission. And only the driver's door will unlock when the vehicle is shifted into park with an automatic transmission, or when the ignition key is removed on a manual transmission.
And Mode 3, where all doors lock when the vehicle is shifted out of park with an automatic transmission, or when the vehicle speed is greater than 15 miles per hour with a manual transmission, and where no doors ever automatically unlock.
To select the mode you'd like, with the vehicle's engine off and the ignition in the lock position, press and hold the power door lock button for approximately 3 seconds until the DIC displays the current door lock mode. Then press the reset trip odometer stem for approximately 2 seconds to switch the modes from 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, and finally from 3 to 1.
The next menu item is Language. This allows you to choose the language in which the DIC's information is displayed. While language is shown on the display, press and hold the reset stem until the language changes from English to the language you desire. You can choose between English and Spanish.
The DIC also displays a number of warning messages and helpful operational messages when needed. Warning messages are displayed on the DIC to notify the driver that the status of the vehicle has changed and that some action may be needed by the driver to correct the condition.
More than one message may appear at one time. When this happens, they will then appear one after another. The messages will then be displayed for 3 seconds each.
Some messages may not require immediate action, but you'll still need to press and release the reset stem to acknowledge them and clear them from the display. Keep in mind that in the event of multiple messages, each message must be acknowledged individually.
Some messages, however, cannot be cleared from the display because they are more urgent in nature. For this reason, these messages require action before they can be removed from the DIC display.
There are more than 18 possible messages that the DIC can display. But due to space limitations for this CD, we'll only cover a few of them. However, as they're important to the safe operation of your Colorado, please take a moment to read about all of these messages in Section 3 of your owner's manual.
Before we get right into some of the messages, though, you need to know that the DIC organizes messages into different queues based upon their order of importance.
What this means is that if a message has been interrupted by a higher priority message, the interrupted message will be restarted when it makes its way back up to the top of the queue.
So, if the currently displayed message becomes inactive, the cluster transitions to the next message in the current queue. If there are no other messages in the queue, the cluster will blank the warning display message. If there are no messages currently active in either warning queue and a new warning message becomes active, the newly activated warning message gets placed in the unviewed queue, and the unviewed queue then becomes the queue controlling the warning display.
As you'll see, most of these DIC messages are pretty self-explanatory in nature, so we'll only concentrate on a few of the more high-priority items. To emphasize their importance, should you ever see one of these warnings, it'll be accompanied by an audible chime sound.
Traction fault is one such high-priority warning. The traction fault warning notifies the driver that there's a fault with the vehicle traction system, and it's important that you get your vehicle looked at immediately.
Brakes notifies the driver that there's an issue with the brake system.
ABS fault is also accompanied by an audible chime, and it informs the driver that there is a serious problem with the ABS braking system.
SERV, which is short for service vehicle, alerts you that your vehicle needs immediate servicing for what may be any number of reasons.
The reduced power warning notifies the driver that the vehicle's power has been reduced.
The battery warning notifies the driver of a charging or generator system fault.
Eng hot, which is short for engine hot, notifies the driver that the coolant temperature is exceeding the normal temperature range and that immediate action is required.
And here's an example of when you might see more than one DIC warning message appear, because as we stated earlier, if your engine ever overheats, your air conditioning system will be automatically turned off. And the AC off message that appears in your DIC after this happens informs you of just that.
As you can see, the Driver Information Center really does offer an incredibly powerful source of vehicle information. And through this interaction, a whole new level of communication can be experienced between you and your Colorado, so that now, even the little issues can be addressed before they have a chance to become something more.
It's just another way your Colorado works to give you one of the safest and most satisfying driving environments possible.